Dr. Yusuf Abubakar is a vet doctor and he is in charge of this farm. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure to be with you.
You know, there's a common layman's definition. Animal production is all about breeding animals for human consumption. Do you agree with this, or there's more you need to add?
Yeah, thank you very much. The whole idea is that animal production is basically targeted towards alleviating poverty and at the same time, provide food for the family. So that's just what animal production is all about.
All right. Now, when it comes to food sustainability, can you say as a nation we are doing a lot towards attaining food sustainability as far as protein is concerned?
Far from that, because from the World Health Organization's projection, we are still far from attaining the standard that is really required per person per day in terms of consuming protein consumption in the country.
Now that brings us to something. When it comes to ranching, I know that government has been doing a lot to encourage ranching as a form of, animal production.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's so much resistance? And what message do we need to send out there to the people to understand that ranching is actually one way through which we can fatten animals for human consumption?
Yeah, very interesting one. The reason being that ranching would have been a fantastic business if at all even the private sector will come in order to do it. Because urbanization, like in those days where you have a pastoralist, going up and down with the animals for grazing and all that, has taken over most of these places. This same route, where they pass to go for grazing in those days, you go there these days, you meet schools, where your factories have been built and all that. So it's a serious problem, but with the government earlier idea as per, this issue of ranching, if the individuals too equally key into it, it's a very serious, it's a very good way of making a lot of money. For instance, it's going to really take care of this, even the communal problem that we are having. Crises here and there, people complaining between farmers and herders and all that. It will really take care of that. Because if you go down towards Niger State, for example, there is vast expanse of land there. So if you go, develop a very good pasture, then the animals will go there and they graze at a particular period of time. Of course, be able to and that will have settled a lot of problems and equally a lot of money for whoever that's able to develop it privately.
You just talked about money. Animal production in our part of the world, can we truly say it is profitable?
It is very, very profitable if it is done well. What I mean professionally, what I mean here is that if they are really managed well, definitely in order to make what I've just mentioned about now, this issue of money, it will just come to be. But like as I said, let me just emphasize once more, because a lot of people are out there going up and down, assuming that they really truly understand it. There are steps. There are steps, especially if you're going to keep this. If you're going to keep large animals to a certain number, you must get a very good pasture field with improved variety of grasses. Of course, that is what they require mostly before this our normal dusa and the rest that they usually give. The animals prefer that. So if the management is really in place, done by the professional, efficiently, that's what I mean, it's really profitable.
I would want to ask you, share with us your view. If I want to put up a farm, what are some of the steps I need to take? I can see where we are. I can see a lot of lush green. I can see lots of space. I can see a river not too far away from where we are. What are some of the things you need to factor in before you come up with a farm?
First is the land. You really have to define what aspect of production you want to go into. Is it the beef or is it the dairy? So it's the land and then the location, just to be able to allow you put up a very good pasture field, and then equally shade where the animals will be comfortable, you know, without too much human interference. So that's one. And then secondly, you know, source of water. It's equally another important aspect. There has to be a very good source of water where the animals will, after grazing, at least they will get enough to drink. And then you equally fence, so that at least they don't, you know, move out within the range that will eventually cause problems. So these are part of things that would first come in place before other structures like office, where you have your equipment that you're using in taking care of the animals and the rest. So first is the land.
Now, if I understand you well, can a man out there whose pocket is not deep venture into animal, you know, keeping?
Yeah, of course. Very interesting, because even if your pocket is not much, the animals, like as you can see, they don't compete much with, you know, the part of crops that humans want. These are very good converters of your waste. You can, you know, the waste you get from home and all that, you can like peel off yams, and you can actually dry and then mix it up with the chaff. That's after processing either rice or your akamu at home. Let me just use that. So you can actually, you know, add to that and then serve the animals. They will eat and they will do very, very well.
But doctor, I still want to find out from you.
Yes, please.
On your farm here, I notice you have a rabbitry, you have a snailry, you have a fishery, and what have you. Now, to a large extent, in my earlier remarks, I did make mention of the fact that when you talk about animal production, this is what comes to mind. But on your farm here, you have a variety of animals. How do you integrate this all under one roof?
Yeah, thank you so much. The name livestock is a compound name. And a compound name simply means here under which you have the large animals production, then you have the small animal production, you have the rabbitry, and then you have the fish. So it's all has to do with animals that are domesticated for human use. So that is basically what livestock is all about. But the moment you just mention livestock, somebody wouldn't even think of poultry or chicken as being part of it. Yes.
So, you know, I also want to find out from you. We have the large animals, we have the not too large animals, of course we have the small ones. Now you tell me, based on the strength of my pocket, if I were today to be interested in animal production, where would you advise I begin from?
Just like as you mentioned, and of course we are having on the farm, rabbitry. You know, with rabbits, you can actually start with as small as one male, that's a buck, and let's say 2 females, that's the does. So, and you, of course, they are highly prolific per kitten, and you end up getting each one at least giving you minimum of, let's say 4, maximum of 6.
Within 2-3 months?
Yeah, you know, within a month. So they have a very short gestation period. So they will just drop that. And if your breeding program is done in such a way that you are looking at the commercial aspect of it, then here you are looking at each one at least giving you that particular number, either 4 or 6, 8 times in a year. So assuming it is just 4 that she is kindling, then if you multiply that by 8, you see the number that it will give you. So then if there are 2, that makes it times 2. So that goes that way. And each one, by the time you win them, even if you are going to sell, at least these days, it goes for like 5,000 naira for each.
My worry is, I mean, how do we integrate issues that bother on, you know, beyond meat, beyond protein? I also understand there is so much industrial use of animals, such as the animals backing us. I understand the blood can be used for pharmaceuticals, you know, those sort of things. Can you throw more light on that?
Yeah. Here you are talking about the animal byproducts.
Okay.
And of course, from each one that you can see, you stand to make more, you know, after processing. Either you sell the whole animal to make one-time money, or you process, you sell the meat. That's the beef. The skin is there, which of course the tannery needed in order to make shoe, belts, and the rest. The hoof is there. The horn, of course, factories that are more into production of buttons, you know. And then the blood too. The blood, incidentally, it's what you can actually process in order to get your blood meat that you incorporate into the feed that you give back to the animals. Example, poultry. It's a very good source of protein.
You know, you're a vet doctor. Can we settle this matter here? There's so much out there when it comes to people saying you should not eat pomo, that it has no nutritional value, and what have you. Can I get an answer? Give me a direct answer?
From the economic point of view, I would rather advise that the skin should be processed. You make more money.
Talk to them.
Yes, you make more money, you know, by processing the skin, and, you know, of course, than just roasting, you know, cooking and then eating. So to be frank with you, I will. It's a way that I mean, a way of making good money that a lot of people just overlook. Because more by the time you now process, how much are they selling? But the whole of the skin, if you process the skin or you sell the skin, you can even export it. Even the, you know, this is the intestine, the offals. So the offals are basically what a particular company needed as a raw material in production of the suture materials that you use during surgery.
All right. I find that quite interesting. You know, as we begin to, or as we round up, I want to find out from you, do we have a deliberate government policy as far as animal production is concerned in Nigeria?
Incidentally, yes. But the problem with all that is, you know, the transient nature of, you know, the policies. You drop a policy today, fantastic. But the execution, that's just the problem. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to call it a day here. Thank you so much for your time.